The confession is this. Colbert did not go looking for the Einstein visa story. The Einstein visa story came to him, the way the best material always comes, not through opposition research or a tip from a producer or a coordinated political communication strategy, but through the specific, flat, documentary arrival of a government form whose existence in the public record produced, the moment anyone read it carefully, the single most efficient encapsulation of the documented gap between what the Trump administration said about immigration and what the Trump family's documented immigration history actually showed. He said it the night the story broke, in March 2018, in the specific, wry, unhurried register of a man who has been handed a piece of material so perfectly self-contained that his job is simply to read it aloud and then get out of its way. There is intrigue in this nation about how Melania Trump got her green card. Apparently, we just learned this. Apparently, in 2001, while she was dating Donald Trump, she received a so-called Einstein visa. He paused. He let the sentence breathe. He said, possibly, because when she told her friends she was dating Donald Trump, they said, wait, good going, Einstein. The room shook, and the shaking was not because Colbert had said something cruel or partisan or politically calculated. It was because the sentence was true in the specific, involuntary, pre-political register of a joke that arrives at full frequency before the audience has assembled the ideological framework for evaluating it. The recognition laugh, the laugh of people who have just been given the most efficient possible sentence for something they have been watching and have not yet had a word for. This is the story of the Einstein visa, the specific, documented, official United States government immigration classification formally designated EB-1, colloquially known as the Einstein visa, reserved by statute for individuals of extraordinary ability who have sustained national and international acclaim, who are in the small percentage that has risen to the very top of their field, and who can demonstrate that their achievements have been recognized in the field through extensive documentation, applied to a Slovenian model who was, in the year 2000, dating Donald Trump, and who became, in 2001, one of only 5 people from Slovenia to receive the classification that year. The parallel tracks run from 1996 to 2018. Track 1. Melania Knaus arrives in the United States in 1996 on a tourist visa, transitions to working visas for skilled immigrants, is paid for 10 modeling assignments between September 10th and October 15th of 1996, a period during which her visa allowed her to be in the country looking for work but not to perform paid work. And then, in 2000, begins the application process for the EB-1 Extraordinary Ability classification while dating Donald Trump, and receives it in 2001. Track 2. Donald Trump's campaign announces, in 2015 and 2016, the most restrictive immigration policy platform of any major American presidential candidate in the modern era. Chain migration elimination, end of birthright citizenship, deportation of undocumented immigrants, the specific, documented, policy-level argument that the immigration system has been abused by people who circumvent its proper channels, who exploit loopholes, who use connections rather than merit to obtain legal status, who take positions that should go to people who waited in line, who did it the right way, who followed the rules. Stephen Colbert placed the 2 tracks beside each other on the Ed Sullivan Theater stage and read them to the room in the flat, unhurried register of a man who does not need to make the argument because the tracks make it themselves. He said, these visas are reserved for a small percentage of individuals that have risen to the very top of their field. And in Melania's case, her biggest job at the time was a spot in the swimsuit edition of Sports Illustrated. He said it in the wry, forensic voice of someone reading an application requirement beside an application credential and letting the distance between them do the work. Not arguing that the credential was insufficient, simply placing it beside the requirement and reading both aloud. He said, fun fact, Albert Einstein got his green card with a very similar photo shoot. The audience in the Ed Sullivan Theater, the specific live, late-night audience that has been to enough of these shows to know the difference between a joke that is performing outrage and a joke that is simply, forensically, completely accurately describing a documented absurdity, responded in the specific, sustained, room-wide register of people who have been given the word for something that has been sitting in the public record for 2 years, plainly visible, perfectly legible, waiting for the right sentence to make it audible. The receipt in this script is not a held-up document. It is the actual, archived, government-sourced documentation of what the EB-1 Extraordinary Ability Visa requires. Sustained national and international acclaim, extensive documentation, recognition in the field through awards or the judgment of experts, a small percentage, the very top, placed beside the specific, documented, publicly available record of what Melania Naus submitted as evidence of her extraordinary ability in the year 2000. Her attorney has declined to publish the details of the application. The specific evidence she submitted, the testimonial letters, the modeling portfolio, the documentation of sustained national and international acclaim, remains sealed in the specific, legally protected privacy of an immigration record that her legal team has chosen not to make public. What is not sealed is the documented context. She was dating Donald Trump when she applied. The EB-1 application process includes testimonial letters, and immigration specialists have noted that high-profile reference letters carry significant weight in the evaluation. That if a well-known figure with name recognition in the relevant field writes a letter attesting to the applicant's extraordinary ability, the letter carries the specific institutional weight of the letter writer's own documented credibility. If the man she was dating at the time she applied was Donald Trump, and if Donald Trump wrote a testimonial letter for her application, a possibility that the BBC's immigration law expert described as the most likely source of the testimonial weight that would have supported the classification. Then the specific, documented, extraordinary ability that secured the Einstein visa was, at least in part, the extraordinary ability to be dating Donald Trump at the moment the application was filed. Colbert said, possibly because when she told her friends she was dating Donald Trump, they said, "Wait, good going, Einstein." He said it in one sentence. The room understood the sentence in the specific, involuntary, pre-analytical register that the best material always produces, before the laugh, before the clap, before the sustained response that tells a late-night host he has found the right sentence for the right material. He said it, and the room found it, and the finding was the laugh. The AP investigation is the other track, the track that runs parallel to the Einstein visa story and arrives, when placed beside it, at the full documented picture of Melania Trump's immigration history. The Associated Press published, in November 2016, the specific, sourced, document-based finding that Melania Naus had been paid for 10 modeling assignments in October 1996, during a period when she was in the United States on a visa that allowed her to be present and to seek work, but not to perform paid work. She had modeled. She had been paid. The visa did not permit paid work at that time. The documents, found in old New York State court records from a 1990s civil lawsuit involving the business partners of the modeling agency that facilitated her early American work, placed her at paid modeling jobs during the specific documented window in which her documented immigration status did not authorize paid employment. She said she had never violated the terms of her immigration status. Her attorney confirmed the payments but described them within a legal framework that the AP's immigration law sources evaluated with varying degrees of skepticism. The documents are in the public record. The payments are documented. The visa status at the time of the payments is documented. The distance between the documented payments and the documented visa status is the story. The specific, measured, time-stamped distance between what the immigration rules required and what the documented record shows occurred. Colbert placed it beside the Einstein visa. He placed the Einstein visa beside Trump's immigration policy platform. He placed Trump's immigration policy platform beside the specific, documented, policy-level language of an administration that had spent 2 years arguing that the immigration system must be protected from the people who circumvent its channels, who use connections rather than merit, who take what should go to the people who followed the rules. He said, Melania may be questioning, and he let the sentence run into the next beat without completing it, in the specific, wry, late-night register of a man who knows that the incomplete sentence is funnier and more precise than the completed one, that the audience already knows what Melania may be questioning, and that naming it would be less efficient than letting the room name it themselves. Trump did not address the Einstein visa story in the specific, direct register of a man engaging a documented immigration question about his wife's legal status. He called Colbert a lowlife. He said the ratings were terrible. He said CBS was embarrassed. He said the show was dying. He did not address extraordinary ability. He did not address the 10 paid modeling jobs in October 1996. He did not address the specific documented distance between the EB-1 requirement of sustained national and international acclaim and the documented modeling career it was applied to. He did not address the parallel tracks, the policy platform, and the application history, or the specific, measurable distance between what the platform required of other immigrants and what the application history required of the woman who was dating the man running on the platform when she filed it. He called Colbert a lowlife and left the Einstein visa in the record. The visa is still in the record. The AP documents are still in the record. The 10 paid jobs in October 1996 are still in the record. The BBC immigration law expert's analysis of the testimonial letter weight is still in the record. And the specific, documented, government-issued, extraordinarily ability-requiring, sustained national and international, acclaim-demanding, small percentage of individuals risen to the very top of their field classification is still in the record, obtained in 2001 from the United States government by a Slovenian model who was dating Donald Trump 1 year after Donald Trump's campaign would spend 4 years arguing that the immigration system must be protected from exactly the kind of person who uses connections rather than merit and takes what should belong to the people who did it the right way and waited in line. Wait, good going, Einstein. 1 sentence, 8 words, said in the flat, wry, completely unbothered register of a man who did not need to argue the point, did not need to build the case, did not need to assemble the parallel tracks or the AP documents or the BBC immigration law analysis or the policy platform contradiction. He needed 8 words and the room needed 4 seconds, and the visa has been in the record ever since, accumulating the specific, documented, time-stamped weight of a classified government form that says extraordinary ability, sustained national and international acclaim, small percentage, very top of their field, and that the record, placed in order with the timestamps attached, answers in the flat, involuntary, recognition frequency register of an entire room saying, wait. Good going, Einstein. Like and subscribe right now. Turn on every notification, because the next application is being filed somewhere. And when it surfaces, this channel will be here with the full documented context of exactly what extraordinary ability has historically been allowed to mean.